I'm just giving you an example of what happened to me in 1999 when I became a member of parliament. We were just 12. And being the youngest, I was the youngest, both female and male at that time. But the thing is that in 2003, we had the highest or the largest number of women, about 26 of us. And sometimes some people look at you and want to be like you. The one lady that two, one is still in the parliament, Khadijat Umar, Bukar. One day we were just coming out of the aircraft in London, and the mother looked at me and said, "Oh, are you Binta?" I said, "Yes." I said, I got it right. She said, "My daughter, you are one of our role models." I said, "Really?" She said, "She wants to come to the parliament." I said, "Oh, that's good." So I just hugged her. At least I'm seeing one woman there. We're going to get one from Yobe and all this until today.
So that's when you transmitted the genes of politics.
No,
the way Papino carried the baby, and the baby Esther Korokwo now is still scoring for Nigeria.
I can tell you that most women that were elected into parliament have done exceptionally well in terms of having constituency projects or interface with their constituents. Unfortunately, the politics is getting too dirty by the day, number one. Number two, the men are always fighting the women at all costs. You can see a woman, when you see a woman in politics, the next is I call her prostitute. Until we have a change and if we do a kind of a political maneuvering by the people in government. And one thing that I will want to appreciate the 10th Parliament, under the leadership of Apabio and the Speaker, about this issue of having the special seat for women. It will go a long way to kind of allow women of proven integrity so that they can come. Take a good example when I was in the Senate and we're deliberating on the constitutional amendment. I think section 47 or 147, I can't remember, where they said the president has to pick one person into his Federal Executive Council from each state. All what we said, and just to include that phrase, 35% affirmative action. It becomes a war. Being the only female in the northern Nigeria, at that time, 57 senators, I was the only one. I was almost shouting. Out of the 19 states, I was shouting on top of my voice. They couldn't hear. I have to climb the table. And I told them, I said, look, it is not about me being in the Senate today. It is about your daughter. It is about your sister. It is about your grandchild tomorrow. And I think one of the senators from Zamfara, the senator from Zamfara was like, but I said, but you brought a female as a minister. And he said, she's an elder. I said, it doesn't matter. Tomorrow your daughter might be called upon for national service or assignment. So you don't just do that. But other we like it now, with this special seat, we hope and pray, 37 in the Senate, 37 in the House. It will go a long way when you are discussing female issue, especially when it comes to health of a woman. Exactly. So the general treatment of a woman.
The truth is, we're agitating for 37. That's what we've put out. We actually want more.
Yeah,
because the more the merrier. Yeah. And not just merry on the side of party, it's merry on the side of reshaping Nigeria for what is worth. And then I'd like to know again, we talked about a whole lot. I was going to talk about how you climb table because it was very clear. But you've taken it off my mouth. You had a lot of fights to do there, but I'm wondering, which of the fights would you say, okay, aha, I made it? Which one gave you joy?
Which one gave me joy? Which one gave me joy?
That sounds like a song.
I think the second attempt that made me to come into the parliament and had a skillful, but again with a determination to make a difference, touching the lives of people. And even when this constituency project, people are shouting, who are the initiator? me and Honorable Saadatu Sani, who was then the chairperson of the MDG, and I was the Women Affairs. So we're trying to see how do we have to force ourselves to meet the Deputy General Secretary General of the UN, Amina Mohammed, and we said, look, I want to use this your MDG for this constituency project to see how we can now meet the needs of people, because he said federal constituency, so we must have a federal presence. And that was one of the things I even told the former president. Olusegun Obasanjo, after we had been inaugurated and we had a close-on section, and I said, if I am a federal member representing the federal constituency, is it out of order if I can ask for a federal presence in my constituency? And I think that's how that constituency project started. And kudos, the late Yaradua came in and I said, okay, senatorial districts and regions and certain amounts of money were allotted, I think about 10 billion to each of the region. And then from there, it's been divided between the House of Rep and the Senate by 60-40. Then after that, you have to look at which area. If it is education, then the Ministry of Education, it goes there, domicile there. If it is health, it goes to Ministry of Health. If it is water,
we actually think it goes to you.
No. It's domiciled in those.
So the constituency money does not even go to you.
No, it doesn't go to us. Well, how will you get the money? So it is if you want education, you want to have a kind of the 2-bedroom or 3-classroom or 2-classroom, it goes to the Ministry of Education under UBEC, Universal Basic Education.
There's lots of doors checking.
Yes.
To make sure it's
talk
not
about
misused.
healthcare.
Okay.
It goes under the Ministry of Health. Again, domiciled in one of the agencies. So if you talk about empowerment, it's either the Women Affairs or whatever. So it's not that you have the money given to you. No, it is domiciled in each of those things. And again, it has its subheads so that you can't say, once if it is done, and it is not you that will do it. It is the contractors. But I had an issue during the MDG when you now said, I said, look, where I am representing is too mountainous. So you cannot approve 1.3 million at that time for a borehole in a constituency in Kaduna State. Same with that in Adamawa State because of our terrain is forest. Exactly. I think that was it now dawned on them that look, they need to start walking and looking at it. So we can't go unilaterally 1.3 here, 1.3 here, 1.3 there. Yeah.
Now, you just mentioned Adamawa State. I know that at a point you moved from here to here and you went back to home, so to speak, even though Kaduna has always been a home.
Kaduna is still my home.
It's still your home, I know that.
At least I'm enjoying dual citizenship.
One of these days we'll ask you to declare. Now, I'd like to know, really, your journey in politics has been very, very interesting, you know, and today I see people say, okay, it's cross-carpeting. I know you've moved from one party to the other, and I keep asking, what informs this transition, you know, for politicians? And here you are, I know you've done a bit of it. Can you educate us?
Yeah, I think I was with the opposition when I came in 1999, with the APP. Then from APP, it went to ANPP. So I was there for 2 terms. So when my former governor, Boni Haruna, insisted that I have to come to Adamawa State to go for the House of Representatives, it's 2 local government that the other local government have gone twice. So Minchika local government has to go. And with all that he has seen and heard, he wants me to replicate it and let the people know how, what representative is all about. Again, I never know anybody. The first time I've been to Adamawa State on my local government was 1983 when I followed my late uncle. When he came in with his 911 to drop some certain things in there, and then he wanted to move. So I jumped into the 911 with him, at least to have a flair of where my parents' roots are.
Were you at the back or
in the front?
Okay.
Yes. They have a lot of luggages in at the back of the 911. Well, it was a beautiful ride anyway. You know, with your uncle, anywhere you stop, you get something to just put in your mouth or drink tea on the way. So I went there and I was like, I don't know anybody. I told him, I don't know anybody. I don't have a platform. He said, you can ride on my platform. And again, he was in PDP. I was in AMPP. So my late dad, I called him and I said, if you come, find over, but the PDP in Adama is divided into two. But I will advise you now to lean yourself with the Marwa faction than the governor. So I asked the governor, I was 6 months pregnant with my last son. And I said, sir, which party are we going to go into if I'm coming? He said, one leg in and one leg is still standing. But again, I followed my father because we did a lot of permutation. And I asked questions and I knew that this wing will be better. So I leaned into it. And what sold me to the people was, I think I can now beat my chest and said, my letter, we call it the newsletter of your constituents, sold me out. I never knew it went far away. And they said, no, it has never happened in our constituency. So is it what somebody can bring you this? Somebody can bring you healthcare. Somebody can do that. So why don't you try this leave? Yeah, and the newsletter was one that sold me out in Adamawa State. And when we started it, it's a different terrain. Here, urban based. There, rural based. So you need to know how you can meander and mingle yourself with them. And at the end of the day, I didn't do much of the campaign. My newsletter sold me out more.
In fact, you did so well there that at a point we assumed you were going to become the governor. At a point.
It's not that one is another story on its own for another day. But nobody knows what God destiny has for one in the future. But like I said earlier, when you are transparent enough with people to know who you are, then I think that the one again has helped. No, Binta can do it. Binta can't do it. So when your A is yea, let it be yea. If your nay is nay, let it be nay. But like one thing that kept me moving, I never make promises that I cannot fulfill. And you can't force me to make a promise, which I know, because I'm looking for your vote. I said, I will do this, I will do that. I said, And I think that's one of the things that has made me to be maybe a different politician.
Very transparent.
Well, politician, yeah.
All right, thanks so much. I want to take a leave, but then I know Binta is beyond politics. And all along we've been talking, you've been mentioning your children, your family, your mother, your late father, your late mother, and all of that. Coming into your house too, which of course now is my studio for now. There has been a lot of family expressions seen, and that tells me that you're a very intentional person. You just told me again that your son read agriculture, and you said, son, come to the farm and show me what you studied, and you were impressed. So it means that beyond politics, you value your family. And I'm asking, do you find good enough time to spend with this family?
I will say, of course, if a mother will want the best for her children, and if you want the best for your children, you have to be close to your children. I have two girls, biologically, and one son. But when you met us here, you see a lot of kids. Some of them, I have adopted children, almost about 10. If you are here, maybe in the next 2 weeks, some of them will be coming back from school. So one just came back from the school in Jos, and the other ones are here. So I adopt children. You don't know who will be at your beck and call at old age. Might not be your children. So you try to say how you can inculcate some certain values in the lives of your kids. So to me, they are all my kids. When you say biologically, yes, I have 3. One is married with 2 kids. The other one, we're waiting to see if the bell will ring. My son is just 18. But like I told you, when he finished his WAEC, he had an A in agriculture. And that was why I said, no, You have to come to the farm and see what we can do.
This is not theory.
It's not true. So it's, but I did practical too, and I said, okay.
No, you come and show mommy. Let's know what we're doing.
And I was so impressed. At least he came in but you see, we parents need to tell our children that it is not everything that that glitters that is gold. Sometimes you let the children learn the hard way. And one mother does not believe that because God has lifted you up, then you don't want to tell the children your story of humble beginning. Every one of us has a humble beginning, has a story to tell. So if you said, okay, because my father is this, so I want to pray or to rely on him, obviously you will not get the best of it. So I'm one woman that, okay, yes, you can pamper a child here, but sometimes bring the child to reality. And I ask, if tomorrow I'm not around, what happens? If I'm not alive, can't life continue?
It should
So
continue.
you must know the good aspect of it, where you can put the child in a good direction. And if the child says, look, this is how we started it. Like I was telling my daughter, I said, this is how we started it. So you can't. I remember my daughter was like, okay, mommy, I want to buy iPhone 4. Since you are traveling, she brought the money. I said, no, you're not using that money for iPhone 4. I mean, iPhone 12, or 14 Pro Max.
14,
I mean,
yes.
Pro Max or 15 Pro. I said, no, you can't use that kind of money to do it. I said, use that money to do something like that. She was looking at me. Unfortunately, she gave me the money and I held into it. And I said, okay, I am not buying you this. I will use this money to trade, so that at the end of the day, even if you have 1 million on that, it is an added value on you. So the phone is for what? It's just for you to listen or to hold. And somebody say, okay, she's holding iPhone 15 Pro Max. I said, another one will come out tomorrow. So
we may not even know what it is when you put
exactly.
the pouch.
So
we don't know the difference.
We need to start telling our children the reality of life. And some of my friends will say, I think, what are you doing in the farm? I said, see, everybody has his own area of interest. If your own is not farm, my own is farm now. So what is the big deal? So everybody has his own areas of interest and what will make you happy.
Beyond farming, what else do you like doing? What's your hobby?
I like dancing.
I can see you're already ready.
I do a lot of aerobics, and I do a lot of exercise. But aerobics is one of the things I like doing. I like watching TV. Sometimes I like reading. So, but my best of hobby is the garden.
Best. All right. I noticed some time ago I saw you, a colleague of mine, I don't want to call names, was actually begging you for masa. And I said, why don't you find out where she buys it and you buy your own? And she said, no, she does it. Nobody can do her kind of masa. So you still have time to go to the kitchen?
No, that's my favorite.
Oh, wow.
Yes, I don't have a cook. I cook for myself.
You're so different from the regular Nigerian politicians.
I don't have a cook. I cook for myself. So no matter what, I come back, I cook. Okay,
I'm almost speechless, but what can I say? Yeah. Your word of advice to Nigerian women who are watching.
Something I cook for myself. There's no two ways. My mother said nobody can cook your food except if you don't want to eat what you want. So I cook for myself. I love cooking, and I indulge. So if I come to your house, I eat something that I like, I ask you, what do you do? Put in there. And when I come, I try it. Or if I have the taste, I can guess, and I can do it. So me, I'm a very good cook. I can pride myself on that.
The way you're actually saying and pointing, it's like I want to you set up a competition.
Please do.
Between you and I.
Please do.
You win me.
People looked at adventure, but I do my adventure on cooking.
That's interesting.
We parents need to tell our children the other side of life. You might be the president's son, the governor's daughter, the child of a senator, and you think that is it all. It's just a space of 4 years, or 8 years, or 12 years, or whatever. But the most important thing is our roots. Once if you get it right, our parents taught us morals. Our parents taught us humility when we were growing up. But do we have the morals today? So I will call upon our youngsters that are coming up that they should look beyond the periphery that we're looking at, but they should try and see what impact they want to leave behind for someone to say, because she has done it or he has done it, I think I will do better. Like I told you the story of, I don't know where Allwell Brown is, Sane Allwell Brown, Ruth Benemesia, Hawa Baba Ahmed. I know she's in Kaduna because we've met
Ruth
once
is in
in a
Port
while.
Harcourt.
Just to tell you, these were my role models when we were growing up. I said, if these women can make it, I think I can do far better than them. And one woman that stood by me, late Leila Dogonyaru, and even Gambo Sawaba, when I was going for this election, they called me. And like the Leila, what she saw, probably I was entering, came out tired, was trying to have a shower, and they called me and said, she wanted to see me. So I live in Barnawa, she lives that's in Kaduna South, and she lives in Kaduna North. I ran. I didn't even know I was having the bathroom slippers on. But when I went, she was inside the room. She was watching me. I never knew. And when she came, she said, Binta, what I wanted to talk to you about, I think you have gotten it. Never overdressed when you are going for campaign. Know the women that you are going are looking onto you. So behave like them, eat their food, drink their water. And that can stuck into me because I know where I'm coming from. I know the kind of family I am. If you talk about poverty, I have seen poverty in all ramifications. So what's the big deal about? Because the Lord has blessed me today, then I'll forget about the humble beginning. So girls, be whatever you are. I still remember when we had, I think it is one of this UN program on the issue of the girl child, Action Aid. Yeah, and then we went. Lo and behold, I was seated with the daughter of a former head of state, who happens that my father was their driver. That was Aisha Babangida. And some of the girls, and when they asked me to speak, I said, whose father? She never knew where I was. And then she was the first lady of Zamfara State. So I was asking, whose father was the driver here? Because nobody, and who has ever sold bread or hawked bread? Nobody. And I said, who will ever believe that one day a daughter of a driver with the head of state daughter will be sitting on the same table talking about the girl child? And that was when she now looked at me. I said, yeah, you won't know, but I know my father was a driver to your father. Because again, maybe because being the head of a driver, the head of drivers in the one mechanized division, S&T, so he drove most of all those things. And they were just looking at me. I said, my father drove your father. And that's why you see then, my father too is a driver, you understand? And I said, don't be ashamed of
where you're coming from.
Your parents are, because tomorrow you might change the story. So I will talk to the youngsters out there, especially the girls. Don't be ashamed of your humble beginning. Tomorrow might be better than what you are. But be proud of where you are coming from. The future awaits you, and I know you will walk in style. So I wish you well.
Thank you. Now, seriously, on a final note, I just remembered Super Falcons did us proud. You want to say hello to them?
Not only doing them proud, I'm so happy with my president. And, when he was speaking that his funnel, I said,
oh my God.
He's remembering that he was an American.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So, Mr. President, thank you for honoring the Falcon, the Super Falcon. But I know that every Nigerian woman out there is so proud of you, and especially the Falcon. You've made us proud. From 0-2 to 3-2. So I say, congratulations. And I strongly believe that Nigeria, better things await you, because this is just the beginning. I will believe that things obviously will be better in the future.
Thank you so much. I actually don't want to stop, but
I'm tired.
All right. On that note, I didn't see that coming anyway. But then, let's adjust ourselves and say bye-bye. We've been talking with the very exceptional lady who has so much energy. I'm surprised she said she's tired this time around, but she has so much energy. She is a politician, a businesswoman, an administrator, has been an honorable member, has been a distinguished senator. And of course, you know that once distinguished, always a distinguished. Her
The
name
first, the
again,
first female chairperson of
the
the political
very
party.
first female chairperson, yes. And I'd like to quickly say her name as a distinguished Senator Binta Masi Garba. That name rings a bell.
Thank you
Thank you
very
for
much.
being with us.
Thank you for having me.
We'll come your way again next time. I don't know how you will go and change and practice everything she said, but it's what looking into humility and recognizing where you're coming from would definitely throw you to where you want to be. And of course, with the grace of God. See you next week. Bye.